So you guys get some really cool prizes, and if you guys want to tune in after the show, we do have Living Loud with Andy on YouTube as soon as we get wrapped up tonight. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you again on Tuesday, June 10th for the usual Unmasked shenanigans.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We appreciate it.
And have a good night.
You know what? I will take it. The Unmasked. You know what? The Unmasked show just ended. They had. I was waiting for the Living Loud song. That Living Loud song, I don't know, it's just something about it. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to have some fun dual streaming, multi-streaming, and talking about SQ at HQ, and Ernie was on the show? What? It was a great one. I'll see you guys in 3 minutes.
Okay. So we're kicking it with Andy, right? You know what that means. We living loud. Tonight, we're going to have a fun one. Simon, appreciate you hanging out on Facebook. Mike. I love you guys. What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday, and yes, this is the Unmasked Aftershow, so thank you guys for tuning in, hanging out with me. We're going to have a fun show. I hope everyone enjoyed the Kicker Unmasked show. I thought it was a blast, and always audio settings.
Appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. We are multi-streaming and streaming twice on YouTube. So if you see this on YouTube in a short format and you don't want to look at it, join me on the main one, but we got the chat rolling everywhere as always. But thank you, Sound Doctor, for tuning in. Appreciate you, everyone, for hanging out. What is going on, Calypse? Appreciate you. It's like an eclipse, but just a clip of it. What's going on, Garrick? Hope you've been well, man. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you're feeling okay. And I know I want to do a little shout out because, you know, it's just people's health. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I feel the pain. I feel the sorrow, the happiness, it all. We gotta give a thought out to El Fuego. Man, he is in the hospital. He's not doing so great, but we just hope a speedy recovery. I know he literally just got the ZX amplifier, the SX amplifier, and that happened. So hopefully he gets better, and I will be thinking and praying for him, man. Appreciate you guys hanging out. What is up, Frank? What is up? Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, and it's not a Tuesday or a Tuesday without a kicker show. The Kicker Unmasked show was great, and man, you know, just SQ, it is an entirely different thing of just what normal people do. It's just like how the SPL guys are entirely different. It's just a whole nother genre. Kyle, appreciate you for tuning in. And by the way, I don't know why it did that. That's Facebook. It said there's a giveaway tonight. There is no giveaway. You already entered the giveaway on Kicker Unmasked, but every Tuesday, make sure you tune in at kicker.com/UMweekly. Every week, you get to tune in, win some awesome prizes. And if you tune in here, a 50% off discount code on top. Green Team in full effect.
Green Team.
Appreciate you, Garrick, and hope you are doing well. Kicker Car, what is up? Kick the like, I mean hit it. Oh man, that's a Sheepdog quote right there. But I do want to show off some pretty cool things. I need to adjust this a little bit. I'm sounding a little bit hot. There we go. We go right there like that. There we go. There we go. Is that good? Testing. I know Ernie did great. You know, he was able to go on camera. Didn't have to do the switcher at the same time and pull that stuff out. I still got you on that, Ernie, but man, does he put an awesome show together with literally Kicker Unmasked and the SQ at HQ show. That was awesome. But I did want to pull this up since we got Kicker Car here talking about stuff. He posted in Kicker Club. Oh no, it's doing the thing again. It's doing the thing again. Let me split it. It's too hot. Why does it do that? No! No, it's not doing it. Oh man. I usually keep this up and rolling so that I'm good. But I'm going to have to move this other ATEM switcher because it's not letting that other one cool down. I'm going to have to show that in a minute. I got you, Kicker Car. It will start working. We need a fan. We need a fanny over here. Got to get the Sparked Innovations fanny to keep the ATEM switcher cool because that's exactly what it does. And, man, electronics, heat, amplifiers, man, the whole nine. And, yeah, Warhorse amplifiers. Those are great, huh? I got you, Kicker Car. Appreciate you tuning in. And please kick the like. Oh, man, you guys are awesome. Let's see. Jason was tuning in. He had some pretty good questions. Andy, I think you asked about tuning left and right. I know they didn't get my question, but it's okay because I actually was watching an SQ judge a car at Mecca this weekend, and he was saying, oh, yeah, his left is right and his right is left. And I'm like, you know, kind of thinking like, how did you mess that up? But at the same time, it can be easily messed up. And I was like, how did you know? But I wanted to throw up like a softball there just because it's like those are the guys to ask, you know, and for people to understand, you know, you could just wire it backwards by mistake and you wouldn't even know unless you know. And yeah, he learned by just tracks, you know, where it's supposed to be, but there are other ways too. Oh, would you look at that? These guys are great. Hold on. We got somebody that subscribed. Garrick. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm trying to press this button here. Oh no, pressing all the buttons. Too many buttons. There it is. There's Garrick. He's making it rain.
Make it rain.
Hit it, Michael!
I got you, Jason. I got you. You know, Garrick, I am so glad that your old brand is coming back, but secretly I am trying to get you on the kicker train. I know eventually you will jump ship and you will join us to the bright side. But that is awesome to hear. And, whenever I was first getting into like the big SPL just shows, local shows, Crescendo, the bass clef, was an amplifier that I seen a lot, man. But thank you so much for just making us look at it and making it rain.
Well, would you look at that? Oh my gosh, just look at it. Just look at it. You got to look at it this way, okay? You just got to look at it. That's all you can do anymore.
Appreciate you, Garrick. And back to Jason's question here. Once crossovers are set, use the mic to tune just the left side. Then tune just the right side. Then turn on both and look for summing issues. Now, I feel like that's even deeper than what I was trying to get at. But right, whenever you get into staging and left and right and just center image and, it gets kind of confusing and you got to have the right stuff. But what I was almost asking is just literally, what's supposed to come out of your left and what's supposed to come out of your right by RCA, and like left channel and right channel, rather than, actual sound positioning and depth and everything. Because that's what that stuff is. When you get into sound quality, you're trying to make it feel like the stage of the music that you're listening to, the performers are on stage in front of you, and the guy that's on the guitar is to the left of you, and the drummer is to the right. That's the idea, and that the drummer is further back than the lead singer, and the lead singer's in front of you, not to the left or right, and they're not veering left and right. It gets kind of crazy. It's really awesome, though. Thank you, Jason, and this guy knows a lot, man. William, hey, kicking it, Kicker Unmasked After Show with Andy. You're a rock star. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you, William, for always tuning in, man. You guys are OGs that tune into every show. You don't have to, but you do. So thank you so much, William, and hope you're doing well, man. Happy Tuesday. I hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend. I know we had a little ceremony for my dad. It was sad, happy kind of vibes. And then Monday, we did absolutely nothing. We worked on the carport. It's almost 100% not leaking. Now it's just the nuts and the screws that are leaking. I'm trying to keep Cookie Monster entirely dry when it's not inside the garage. And then obviously Kayla's car when Cookie's in the garage, one step at a time. But that's what we did. Let me know what you guys did on your Memorial Day weekend. You might need to tweak a little more. And he knows that sometimes you just got to step back and just look at it. Would you look at that? Would you just look at it? I know the guys that were on the night, I was like, he's like, well, I didn't get to look at him. I'm like, triggered, you got to look at him, man. That's the thing. Bottom line, you just got to look at it. Wade, appreciate you for hanging out. Let me know if you got that schmedium or not. Hope you've been well, man. Kyle Goddard reminds every time I see your name reminds me of Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy Neutron, the dog Goddard. I mean, come on, it's awesome. Thank you for tuning in, Kyle. And yes, prayers to El Fuego. CAE, what is up? What's up, Andy? Question: what power ratio do you use sub amp to mids and highs? Man, that's a good one. Because I feel like it takes more bass watts to just kind of keep up with the mids and highs. And let me tell you how I kind of learned that. Not obviously just normal system, like you had your stock system, or you even had a 50x4 and you put some bass in the back, and next thing you know, that can't keep up. I also learned even more so the opposite way by having a 50x4 and then a 100 watt subwoofer, and that was it. You know what I mean? Like power, amplified power, just because it was like doubled. It was like, and the mids and highs were rocking. It needed more, for me, it needed more bass, like, yeah, it sounded good, but like I wanted it to have a little bit more gravy, and it wasn't able to do that. So the ratio of figuring that out, I would tell you it is relative, just like everything in science, where it is frequency dependent with all things. Now, to keep it simple, if you're having a normal system like a prefab or a kicker loaded enclosure, something like that where it's going to play 30, 40, 50 hertz range, I feel like those frequencies are a little bit harder to keep up with, meaning more mids and highs, more door speakers in your car to keep up with that kind of bass. Now, when you play below 30 hertz, below 20 hertz, a lot of wasted information, like real low frequencies. For some reason, it's just a little bit easier for those same mids and highs to keep up with that bass, even though that it's the same amount of dB, if not more. And I feel like that has a lot to do with the cabin resonance and just like how our ears perceive sound. We don't hear those lower frequencies as easily, and I feel like that's why we were able to still hear the mids and highs. Maybe that's just a placebo effect of mine. I don't know, man. It's just... that's my thing. So a ratio, I would say at least 1 to 5. You know, like if you got 1,000 watts, maybe you need like 100 or 200 watts on all your door speakers, you know, to be able to keep up. And that's 50 by 4. Like that's plenty enough to keep up with a 1,000 watt system. And of course, if you go more, you might need more too. Shannon, thank you for tuning in, man. How have you been, sir? Hope you've been well. And man, this guy is putting together an ultimate kicker build. Solo X's, War Horses, the whole 9. Got his 50% off discount code. Game over. Game over. All right, let's try this. Is this going to work for me now? Yes, see, I know exactly what it is. I just got to move this other ATEM switcher because now, look, it's great. It's working. All right, there's Kicker Car again. We got to throw up Kicker Car. And he posted this up in Kicker Club. He got his amplifier signed by none other than Steve Irby, Jacob Lucky, and I know there's a few other on there, man. That is just awesome. And I know he was competing with that a lot with his 2 L7X8s. And this thing's doing some numbers. Let me see. I think I have that actually pulled up. His SPL run in his car with those with the L7X8s. And oh no. Wait. I need to order the L7X8, but it's not in stock at kicker.com. I need it. I need to check tonight. I checked 2 days ago, wasn't there. I want to buy it because I've been running the L7S8 version of these over here. And I want to try it. I want to try it. I do want to try it. All right, let's take a look at this. I'm going to skip to the good part. Take me to the good part. You know, I got the song. All right, cool. Let's do it here. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. $140 plus with 2 L7X8s. I think he gets a 44 in there. There it is. There it is. That low note, man. That low note, something about like that L7X8 and, 10, 12, 15, they work very well in that 30 hertz range, and obviously higher and obviously lower. But I feel like they did design this thing to be a ground pounding woofer. And like that frequency just kind of works. I mean, if you just look at the FS and just how the box needs to be designed and the tuning and the box specs that Kicker recommends, yeah, they want you to play that. And it's awesome, man. It is awesome to see just high SPL numbers with little woofers, and these are only 800 watts RMS a piece. So, it's awesome to see. Thank you, Kicker Car, for posting that in Kicker Club. Appreciate you for tuning in and all the support you have done. He is the top membership gifter for the green team. He be gifting them all the time.
Bass hitting hard, yeah. Turn down for what?
Literally 455 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, man. And everybody else that has gifted green team memberships, there's Jason Grant down on the bottom. Everybody that has gifted at least one membership will have your name scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So appreciate you guys for all that you do. All right, let's see. Where am I at here? Much love to El Fuego. Oh, there's Mom. Hi, Mom. Love you. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm so glad my mom drove for the first time in 10 years. That was awesome. And we all owe it to Kayla. I know Troy was asking, how'd she do it? Why'd she do it? Well, she needs to do it, and she wouldn't listen to me, but she listened to Kayla. I'm so glad that she just got behind the wheel, and it looked like she never forgot how to drive. So that was good. That was awesome. Love you, Mom. Thank you for tuning in. And just getting you all set up. Love you. that was not a recommended box, a lot bigger. And that's the thing too with Kicker I have experienced myself with Cookie Monster was 14 cubes. They recommended 10, and that thing was just a hair trick machine. And then obviously I shrunk it down and did my own specs and stuff, and it does great numbers for what it is, and would do even more if I didn't have Shag in there. But I mean, it wouldn't be Cookie Monster. No way, that's not coming out. But they do well in large enclosures. You can put them in smaller, but again, it all depends what you're trying to do, and the space that you got. More space, more bass. And then just there's obviously diminishing returns with that as well. Let's see here. Why am I up here? I don't know why I'm up here. Floki, thank you for tuning in. Anyone know if Scar AGM batteries are bad? Oh man, I feel like when it comes to batteries, I don't know in particular on their batteries where they get them from, but everybody that is a company that sells batteries usually gets them from overseas. And it just depends what kind of batteries they're using. And if it's an AGM battery, which I think that one is, I have seen that pop up. I mean, you can't really go wrong with AGM or lead acid. I mean, they've been tried and true for many, 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 many years, but you get what you get. Anything that can help your electrical in your system is going to be beneficial in the long run, but just how much performance for how much money you're spending is always the question. And that's just digging down the rabbit hole and doing your own research and looking at a lot of different reviews of people actually having scientific data to back it up. But I mean, it should work okay for you, man. Thank you for tuning in. All right, let's see. Garrick, my OG crescendos are still good. I mean, I like the color. I like orange. Thank you, Car Audio Obsessed. Appreciate you tuning in, and check out his channel if you haven't already. You're going to see an interview with me. He already had Derek and another guy on there. Both interviews were great. Can't wait to see what you come up with, man, and keep it kicking, man. Thank you for tuning in, dude. I am here. Appreciate you, Floki. I know a lot of you guys have said afterwards, oh, I missed the live stream. It's okay. Memorial weekend, Friday. Oh, man, it's okay. I'm always here, though. I leave the door and the light on. Door open, light on. There we go. This is all messed up. The chat is all over. Well, you might be. Yeah, you are in the short form, which I'm looking at it now. There's 12 people watching on the short form, and then we got 30 on the long form. So we are kind of split up a little bit. I've seen other people do this, and they're like, oh yeah, the short video is the way to go. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll take a look at it. I mean, it's not terrible, but right. We do have all the chat together, at least on my end here. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. You should be able to see some of the chat on top of the short thing too. Just trying different things. It's always evolving. Always. Frank, appreciate you. You think a bigger warhorse will be released? Man, if there was a horse, there would obviously be a pony. So, I don't know. I really don't know. Having the Warhorse 10K sitting over there beside me, if I were to guess and see, just what they already have out there, and if they would make a level 2 of anything, then I could see a bigger Warhorse coming for subwoofers that need even more power or designed differently or just whatever. You want to have one big amplifier rather than multiple smaller ones. I feel like they do make a lot of decisions, and that might be one of them where it just goes into that favor because, everyone's, I miss the old Warhorse 10K. It was huge. It was great. It was 10,000 watts. People just, they want the big amplifier. So, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's doing pretty well, man. A lot of things are hard to keep in stock at kicker.com for just certain things, and just the buildup of the L7X just line. And, just we'll see. That's all I'm saying, Frank. That's all I'm saying. And by the way, get back to me. Text me back. You got to text me back. Andy is waffling. He knows something. I don't know nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, man, there's something in my eye. Kyle, 2 bats, then alt ASAP. I love electrical. I know we need to go into that again. I got a few ideas for future Kicking With Andy episodes. By the way, next Tuesday, no Kicking With Andy, letting you guys know it now. It is Oakley's birthday. I am taking that Tuesday off, and so there's that. But I am planning some stuff ahead so we have more content, more videos for Kicking With Andy that are more, actual like topics rather than just kick back, relaxing, hanging out, talking about the Unmasked show or just chilling back on a Friday. I got some things in the works. And by the way, I do have something over here too that I picked up from Mr. Seth Duffy. You might have seen it in one of the other shots there. The Solo X18 had a baby. It had a baby, but it is preemie and it needs to be in the ICU a little bit. But we're going to get that thing kicking again. And yes, that will be something fun to show. I could do the same thing with my 18, but there's that one. My 18, it's got the Steve Irby signature. It's like, I don't want to mess that up. I got something cool to show, but that's another future show. So always something. And if you guys have any ideas, I've been doing this for a while. Like we're almost up to 300 live streams, 55 plus Kicking With Andy's. If you got anything that you want to talk about, literally comment it down below, get my mind going. Comment after the live stream, hit me up on Facebook, livingloudwithandy@gmail.com, any which way. I do have to respond to 2 people on livingloudwithandy@gmail.com, my email, but one thing at a time. Holiday weekend, I'm back on the grind tonight and tomorrow and Friday. Here we go. Ready to go. Appreciate you guys both tuning in on both YouTubes, Facebook, everything. You guys are great. I love you so much. There's Mike. Hi, Mom. Matt Ritchie, thanks for hanging out on Facebook. Magoo! If you know, you know. Thank you for tuning in, man. Okay, I have 2 batteries, but they're not even AGM, so maybe it's lead acid. It's nothing bad about certain chemistries. It's just they're designed, for different applications, and some are just inherently safer than others. I push LTO. You think about the Titan batteries or DIY LTO, just because that battery can be ran down to 0 volts just like sodium, and it's just powerful. It has a high C discharge rate depending which one you get, meaning it can just discharge a lot more. It's like an ant, where an ant can lift 50 times its weight compared to a human, but a human can lift a lot more. So that's a good comparison of just, it can push out a lot of power for how small it is. And then there's the AGM lead acid. It's bigger, but it can only push out so much. And, it's just, that's a few live streams put together. And to have like some kind of idea of like which battery to pick and do different demonstrations. We're going to be doing this stuff for years, and it's like batteries. I want to learn even more and have more testing scenarios for more scientific stuff. But honestly, we need to get back to the basics on some of it, man. I feel like we are getting on a roll where some people just don't know what I'm talking about. And it's like, all right, subwoofer, amplifier, battery, alternator, let's hook it up, and the basic stuff, because that's where we all started. And I feel like people do need to know how just the basics work, man. Let's see. I watched the new Lilo and Stitch movie. Do not rub it in, okay? Okay? Don't rub it in, Kyle. Just don't do it. Been looking at AGM batteries for second battery. It is, I would say, literally the safest alternative to use, because, most cars nowadays actually are installed with AGM, so you don't have to worry about mixing chemistries, and that's something that, I feel like is kind of like skimmed over, but at the same time, not nowadays. Batteries are becoming more of a topic of like, yes, this lithium's safe for your car, or battery delete, or isolator, which one, and it gets kind of confusing. But whenever you have an audio system that has thousands of watts, you need to make those plans of putting together the right amount of electrical to keep everything happy. Meaning the second battery, and maybe down the road, another alternator, or at least a high output alternator, meaning more power for just your engine generating stuff. So yes, I sure did. Fits perfect. You got the schmedium. Good. Tim S. T-Brew, there's probably more R&D in the 6.5s just due to the size being much more common. I don't know what you're talking about, Tim. Don't know what you're talking about. Can someone add scientifical to the dictionary? Honestly, we need to. Scientifical is scientifically accurate, right? Thank you, Double E, for tuning in. Appreciate you, man. I wish I had the battery tech now when I competed back in the 2000s. I did it. I put a lead acid in the back of my car, a deep cycle. My dad's like, oh yeah, deep cycle. People are saying deep cycle batteries. Meanwhile, they're literally probably the worst for car audio if you're using just one, because they're all big, but they can only do so much for their weight. You need something that can pack a punch, or at least be able to discharge what your amplifier can do. And that's why you've seen all back in the day, like multiple AGM batteries, like 10 or more. And those things were weighing down the vehicle, but they needed all those batteries to be able to discharge all that current safely without destroying the cell. Now, don't get me wrong. AGM batteries, man, can they pack a punch? You know, it's down to 8 volts, but we don't want to run at 8 volts. You know, that's what AGM and starting batteries are really designed for, and the ratings that they put on there. Cold crank amps, amp hours, everything. And even the amp hours are rated at 20 hours, meaning like, you know, just a long time, not a continuous 1,000-watt base frequency. It's a lot different of how they rate those batteries. So it's kind of hard to go off that as well. All right, time to go into work and listen in the car. Thank you, Double E, for tuning in. Appreciate you. Drive safe on the scooter. Anson Adams, appreciate you for hanging out. I hope you've been well, man. You guys are awesome, man. How is that kicker system treating you? I love having 2 sets of chat. I got the ones that was stuck on there. I got some of the future ones here. Or Caps, Ask Dubby, hit the like button. Thank you, Jin, for tuning in. Appreciate you. You guys got to hit the like.
Just hit the like.
Just hit the like.
It's that easy. We got 32 watching on YouTube, 24 likes, and we got another 7 still watching, and only 2 likes on the short. Come on, guys. What are you doing? Christopher Martin, what's crosstalk, man? That's SQ stuff right there, man. That is SQ stuff right there. And, you know, I've heard that from Blake, because Blake literally works at Digital Designs, and he is learning what all their employees know. Like, I technically don't work for Kicker, okay? I don't live in Stillwater. I'm not calling Ernie every day, every other day, but not every day. I'm not sitting there learning this stuff. But right, you know, whenever you get into sound quality left and right and crosstalk on the amplifier and just that kind of stuff, you know, you don't want that. I know that. You just don't want that. It's not a good thing. But SQ, I feel like, can be interpreted different ways of sound quality. Or maybe we just need SG. Sounds good. Sounds good enough for your system of what you are trying to do. You just want to be able to hear your music. You want your speakers to play what they're supposed to play. And it just sound good. You know, that's the bottom line. Unless you want to get into all the nitty gritty, just like SPL. Do you want to do a 60 with 2 L7X8s? You sure can, but it's going to be a long road, and you're probably going to give up some things. I will tell you that. I will tell you that. And don't tell me it's impossible. It's not. You definitely can. SPL cars, man, we've seen it. You can do, you know, a 170 plus on a few hundred watts with a 15. You know, when you get into that. And the same thing with SQ. It's a deep rabbit hole indeed. Appreciate you guys. All right, crosstalk happens between electronics, so separate amps, reduce it. Separate amps, reduce it. You know, I feel like it's just, you know, from my understanding with it, you know, just from literally that, is just maybe cheaper amplifiers are more noticeable for that. I don't know. I really don't know. I know it's from left and right separation. I know that much. Let's see. Shoop Dog, Kyle G, PSC. Hello, Kyle. I think El Fuego, who had the inside track on Kicker, mentioned standalone DSP Warhorse 10K. He's been right in the past. Should also be a 6.5 solo X coming too? Huh? You know, man, El Fuego. We love El Fuego, and he has his source, but he will not give up his source. He cannot confirm nor deny. He cannot confirm nor deny. Oh, man. That was not a recommended box, a lot bigger. Okay, so I'm real far behind there, but I can see this Golden Strong. Hi. Would it be okay to hook up one Big Boss 5K per Solo X12, planning to put 2 BB5s and 2 Solo X12s? Okay, so, right, Big Boss 5K Terramp on 2 Solo X12s, so 5K RMS, you know, on 2 Solo X12s. Absolutely. And, you know, I mean, for, you know, Terramps, I heard the Big Bosses are pretty decent. planning to put 2 BB5s and 2 Solo X12s. I don't know what the BB5s are, but still, I mean, if it's 2 mix matching subs, I would not suggest that, but if it's something else that goes along with that, sounds like a killer system, man. And thank you, Golden, for tuning in. That is awesome. Running 2K RMS on mostly stock at the moment, extra battery and a small cap. You know, the whole thing with capacitors, you know, they do what they're intended to do, and people try to use them in different ways that are just not meant to be, unless it's a super cap or if it's got a lot of capacitance for that kind of capacitor that usually doesn't have that much capacitance. I know we're starting to talk over heads here, but a lot of guys are like, yes, exactly. So, you know, whenever you have that, you know, you might want to upgrade, you know, to something that is more for car audio. You know, when I hear cap, I automatically assume, you know, the 1 farad cap, the 2 farad, the 8 farad cap. I actually tested a 375 farad cap, and it was good for like, you know, another 2,000 watts for a couple seconds. And then that was it. It just fell on its face. And, but that's what they're meant to do. They're meant to give you that instantaneous oomph, you know, and then after that, then they're done. They need charged. And then I feel like that's why batteries and lithium batteries are so important, because they give you a lot of the similar results that a capacitor does, where it gives you more instantaneous power delivery, but has the capacity of your normal lead acid AGM battery or normal battery that you put in your system. So there is that. There's pros and cons. It's like, what are you trying to do? What is it meant to do? Are you trying to put, you know, nitrous in your gas tank? You know, it make you go fast, real fast, but not long. You know, it's just not designed for that. And I feel like the capacitors are kind of the nitrous. You need gas in the car, and that's your battery. And then, you know, the fuel pump will say you can drive down the street with the fuel pump. That's your alternator. You know, it comes down to fluid. It really does. All right, thanks, Luca. I was looking at the LX3000. Those are awesome, man. They are awesome. SPL is easy at first place with a single 15 under 500 watts. SQ is difficult. It really can be, man. But let me tell you, that under 750 watt class, challenging. Makes you learn your system. All right, let's see. Is there anyone else? Stream Tiny? Yeah, you're on the wrong one, Dubby. You're on the wrong one. You gotta look. Look at the pinned comment. You'll probably see that it says you're on the short form. That's what it is. And there's still 9 people watching, so we got almost 50 people tuned in. You guys are great. I love you. Yeah, I just tried something new tonight, and it was a lot of work. And I got it to be pretty easy. You know, I do this stuff all the time. But I don't think that's worth it for like 8 people watching. You know, I might as well just be here all together. But love you guys, and if you're on that, the link is pinned to be on the full size, so there's that. Yeah, look, they're jumping over already. They're like, screw this. I don't know which one first. Floki, appreciate to do, because I can't afford to do both battery and alt grade at the same time. I'll tell you this. First thing to do is battery. I know people are going to be like, alternator, but if you have a amplifier that can do more than that alternator can do, especially at idle, you're going to run into problems of burning that alternator out fast and faster. The thing with high output alternators, they're really like the same thing as a stock, but they're rewound. They got different parts in there, sometimes cheaper, better. And it's like overclocking a CPU, you know, and you buff certain things, or a GPU, whatever, and you buff certain things, but you're overclocking it. So then it's going to have a shorter life regardless. And then you just run that thing at 100% utilization the whole time. If you know about computers, you don't want to do that. You need some capacity. You need the battery bank to take the brunt, and then the alternator to be able to keep that up. And that's why you do both eventually. But the first step I would tell you to do is a battery, just because it's going to save everything else in the car. And all your demand, instead of traveling from the back of the car to the front of the car with all that current, because all you got is an alternator and a front battery and a weak AGM in the back, it's all the current is literally going to be coming through that wire. That alternator is going to be like, oh yeah, you need all of it because you got no capacity left. Your voltage is down to 10 volts, full field. rather than a battery that eventually becomes depleted. Then the alternator is like full fielding. Okay, you need all the gigawatts. Here you go. Then a lot of current starts to go from your front of your car to the back. I think it's safer. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people do that as their first step. And alternators are not universal. You know, it's a big step to do that, to remove your stock alternator that it was perfectly fine and take it out of your car and throw one in that does twice or triple the power. Excuse me. So there is that as well. Just some notes to think about. That's it. Let's see here. Sorry, I had some drainage. It was like catching right up to me. Talking too much. Anson Adams, how many of you are in it for SQ or SPL? You know, I lean to the SPL. I know. Caveman. Me like bass. You know, feel like that's how some SQ guys think of us, you know? And then the SQ guys are, you know, drinking their wine. Oh, look at them peasants over there with their big 150 dB systems rattling their calls to death. You know, and it just, whenever you can get those people together, though, because they are entirely different, it's like the universe just makes sense. You know, you got to put them together because it's great. And you need to have a system, you know, that is balanced. You know, it's got some gravy, but damn, does it sound good. You know, that's the way to do it. Let's see. 6 watching there. Yeah, they're all jumping over. Good. War Horse, Dark Horse. That would be a cool 2.0. Thank you for tuning in. Solo X Silverado. Let's see. Oh, why is that playing? Ah! All right, Kicker Car. We get it. I did want to share these two, though. This was on Kicker Club. And hold on. I got to throw this up here. Mr. Duffy. He's got to read my lips. Thank you for tuning in. Love you, Seth. And this guy has helped me out so much. Repairing the Solo X's. Doing a lot in Cookie Monster with the fiberglassing and just everything, man. This guy is my man. And he works with me, too. One of my best friends. And he wants to come on the show. He's a little hard of hearing, so it's going to be an experience. We're going to have fun. I can understand him, and I think you guys will be able to too, and we can go over his history. I'm going to bring him on one of these Friday nights in the near future, so get ready, Mr. Duffy. Back to this. We do have to show off this, though, in Kicker Club. Let me pull this down here. Oh, wait, that's there. Okay, good. I wish I could zoom in more. Can we zoom? There we go. Enhance. Thank you, J-Dub, because J-Dub's in the back there. Ernie is busy on vacation on his way home. He's like, man, that's enough live streaming for me. And Andy Snap shared this with his custom Warhorse battery distribution blocks. Looks like they can handle some nice big A&L fuses, 450, 500 amp. You know, that's kind of what I'd be running. Just biggest can, at least for that amount of power. And that's awesome to see, man. That is just awesome to see. Custom engineering. And I think that's mostly what I had here. We do need to share this. This is from last week. Mr. Dave K., the guy always telling us to smash the like. Hit the like. And him with Dan Current, and it's a community here, and you guys donated towards Dan and his family last week, and I sent Jacqueline the money literally an hour before Kicker Unmasked, so we got that out to them. Thank you guys for supporting on Friday, and thank you guys for just tuning in, man. I love doing the show. It's a treat. It really is. And I know some people always keep commenting, oh, he's going to get tired eventually. Yeah, I do get tired, but I love doing it. I love square subwoofers, and I love computers. Like this studio has so much time invested. I can't quit. I never, and it's just, I love doing this. You guys are great. And, the after show, it's an after show. Fridays are fun days. And then Kicking with Andy, that's when people all come in and hang out and enter the giveaway and have a lot of fun and maybe learn something, or even help somebody in the chat learn something. And that's what this is all about, is community and car audio. Yep. A bigger warhorse coming. SQ, I like clear and loud. Thank you for tuning in, Extremo. Appreciate you. You need both. You really do need both. Golden says, currently have one Big Boss 5K, two Solo X12s, which is pretty decent sounding. Putting a 150.6 on music. I'm thinking of powering the subs with a Big Boss 5K each. Can the subs handle it? It's a lot of power. They will, to a point. Whenever you have a driver, even like the Solo X, L7X, or any of the other brands that just tend to underrate their power handling. So, Sundown does it. The Solo X kind of does it too. Just maybe not as much. It's kind of more on par, but it can handle that. Like constant sine wave, 2000 watts. It's a little bit different. High temp coil. Resin, all that fun stuff, and advanced, cooling features and properties designed for what it's supposed to do. So it can handle more power than just that 2K clamp to a point. And then whenever you get more than that, 3K, 4K, I would first be wary of mechanical limitations because of the enclosure. And you're sending all that power. That woofer is going to keep extending and want to go further and further and further until it doesn't go any further, and that's whenever you're going to have a problem with the Solo X. I will say that. That's when you're going to have a problem. We've seen it with Derek. I've done it too. Overextension, either from the enclosure or just a lot of power, and that thing is moving 3 inches each way. Like, it's just moving. That thing is just flopping around way past what it's supposed to do. And any speaker that is going that far for a long time, you're going to do damage to it. So keep that in mind of like, okay, can I put 20,000 watts on it? 10,000 watts? Sure. And then it's like power handling, and it's music, probably not for long, That's the same situation with my 18, the Solo X18, the L7X, just the new 18. And it's the same power handling, same coil stuff, okay? And I got it on 2 warhorses, and those are like 5K at 1 ohm. And I have each coil at 1 ohm. So it's like the same situation as that of a 5K on each coil. Now, the only thing with the Big Boss, I don't know if that's got like any of that slash or, any load or smart technology in there. And if it does more at like 2 ohm, because there's those factors too, just how much power is that amp really going to do out of that 5K? There's a difference between each amp, and music's all over the place. Keep it simple. I'd say you're probably going to see 3 to 4K out of each one of those amplifiers on each sub, and I feel like it should be okay. It's not going to be total overkill whatsoever, but you still have to play within reason, just like anything, man. You really do. Thank you, Golden Strong. Appreciate ya. And you guys are great tonight. Anyone using SVS RCA? I know SVS is like a home audio brand, and they make some pretty cool stuff. I never actually got to hear one yet, but they look pretty good. They seem legit. Okay, I'm real far behind there. Let me scroll down. Thank you, Luca. Taking a look at the LX3000. Joe Keenan, you right? What's going on with the short bus? Thank you for hanging out. Bergen79, thank you for subscribing. And JD Wilson with a $5. Look at that. Man, I felt the super chat.
Would you look at that? Oh my gosh, just look at it. Just look at it. You got to look at it this way, okay? You just got to look at it. That's all you can do anymore.
Thank you for making us look at it. Just joining in. Think the Kicker L7 Q class is coming back. Thank you, JD Wilson, for hanging out, man. And that's a very good question. I'm gonna say yeah. Of what that actually becomes, how it's going to be different or the same as the original L7Q class, I don't know. But I can say, yeah, it's coming back. I mean, it's Kicker sound quality driver tier that's square. And I don't know about you, but Kicker makes a lot of square woofers, and it's just like saying, oh, well, we're not going to make the best one that we think, just because, it's end of life. They're gonna make another one. They're gonna make another one. Because you got what? The L7R, the L7S had the Q, and then the Solo X, L7X. So I feel like you can't just not have that one. It's like right in the middle, But what it's going to be like, no clue. It's just like the Kicker Comp Q. It disappeared for a while, and then, poof, there it was, right on kicker.com. And that is a great sounding driver, and they didn't change too much on that. Will they change the Q class? Because the Q class, I feel like the L7 Q class looks a heck of a lot different than any other L7, or Solo X driver. So maybe there's going to be some changes with that, and I would feel that there will be, because with just how that kind of ended between being, 11 years old, and the designer who designed it passed away, and then the manufacturer company is no longer dealing with them anymore. So it's nothing that they could do. So they have to start from scratch a little bit, but are they going to keep it similar? I would assume so, but maybe better, and that's, just how Kicker does stuff, man. Thank you so much, JD Wilson. Appreciate your $5 super chat. I appreciate you guys just all commenting, man. Love you guys. You don't have to super chat. It's nice. It keeps the lights on. I want to buy the new Tail Air 2. It's like not the Tail Air 2, the Tail 2. It's literally this camera here, but it's got like 4 times optical instead of just all digital. I don't need it. I don't need it, but with your guys' donations, man, that's what this stuff goes to. So thank you so much for all the pennies looking at it, super chats, everything, gifted memberships. You guys are great. All my power is in the back, even stock battery under the seat. One thing I would tell you, if you have a lead acid battery, it's not an AGM, and if it's a non-sealed battery, see if it's sealed or not. It's going to say it. Take it out of your vehicle, because if you get in an accident and you're going to get battery acid everywhere, it's a bad time, and they can vent. There's that, and like poisonous gases. That's why you're really not supposed to put a non-sealed battery in the cabin of your vehicle. It's just not ideal. So take a look at that. Let me know. Golden, we got Golden, Mr. Duffy, loud and clear. Fee-fi-fo-fum, our SQ guys, as big on alternators. I understand the batteries are just as important, and I will tell you, probably not. One, they don't use as much power, 2-point, not all of them, but normally. But think about it like this. When you're in an SQ competition and you pull up and you get in the car and the judge is sitting beside you and you're getting ready for your song, and you're on your iPhone, your Android, whatever team you're on, and all you hear is your muffler going boom. You get dock points. So when you're actually in the lane, most guys don't have their car on. So the alternator is not really going to help them out much, at least for competition. Maybe for driving down the street and whenever they want to turn on the sauce, they might do that. But I feel like if anything, they're going to invest in batteries. Batteries are quiet, and you really don't need too many. I mean, you think about it. Why we need so many batteries and so much power is because subwoofers are inefficient. We're not talking about the efficiency of the amplifiers, just a subwoofer in general. How much power it takes to move that thing. It's just, they're not efficient speakers. Now, it's because of the low frequency and how a woofer for low bass is needed to perform in order to do the things that it does. So you need big amplifiers, even though that, you can get lighter woofers. You still need 100 watts? That's a lot of power for just one thing. Meanwhile, your door speakers need 10 each. It's just that we need more power. So thank you, Fee-fi-fo-fum. Appreciate you. And there is Shannon. Oh man, you guys are really making it rain tonight. I love you guys.
Make it rain.
Hit it, Michael.
Ready?
Peace.
It's not just about the super chat size. It's about how many we get from all you guys. Thank you so much, Shannon. With 4 Solo X12s fired up and a long port from one end to the other, how should the box be tuned for the best SPL and street sound? Good question. Give me a second. So, 4 12s firing up and a long port from one end to the other. How should the box be tuned? So, sub up, port back, right? And I feel like you're already starting off pretty well for a balanced kind of box, rather than sub up, port up, or sub back, port back. I mean, even sub up, port to the side. You know, you can even have the sub one side, port the other side, and get some pretty weird, you know, sounds and just like how it works in your vehicle. So if you want something that is not going to have huge drops, but you're going to get a little boost where you want it, and you're going to make that work with the cabin of your vehicle. So if you got like a big SUV, you know, and you might want to tune maybe a little bit lower or a little bit higher because you have a lower cabin res, and then you have a smaller vehicle that has a higher cabin resonance, and all that is the vehicle resonating with the bass. And they have different frequencies and stuff like that. So smaller car likes higher frequencies. Bigger car likes lower frequencies. Just keeping it simple. So you have that, and then you want it to sound balanced. So you're going to have an artificial boost in output or sound at those frequencies, either higher or lower, depending on your vehicle size. So you kind of want to tune away from that. Not too far, but a little bit away from that so that you get that natural bump with the vehicle, and then you get that natural bump with the enclosure, not just a port. Because let me tell you, if you tune to 32 hertz, you know, is it going to be that loud at 32 hertz? Is the port going to be matching the woofer at that? You know, is it going to be a frequency off or, you know, delayed and all this other stuff? It gets kind of confusing. But to keep it simple, you know, if you got a big SUV and they usually peak around 44, 40 hertz, you know, you can tune lower or you can tune a little bit higher, maybe around like 36, 38. So you might have a little bit too much of a boost. That's the thing when it comes down to everything, not just tuning. How much of that vehicle are you taking up? The orientation of the speakers. It's a lot of trial and error. But I would just say this. If you got a real small car, you might have to tune a little bit lower to be able to play lower and to be more balanced, because you got such a higher frequency where it likes to play those higher notes, and then it's not going to want to play those lower notes. So then you have to tune that box a little bit lower so that the box is doing more work to achieve those low-end frequencies. But then you get into some crazy stuff too, where you got like quarter wave, half wave, and then you put one window down, you're like, whoa, what is that? How is it playing 20 hertz? And that's because the car's so small, and because of just wave theory and how the waves are extending and the peaks and the valleys of the bass wave. And by the time it hits your ear and out of the vehicle, is it making it louder or quieter? Is the vehicle restricting or helping? You know, it gets really crazy, really fast. Thank you so much, Shannon. Appreciate you again, man. You guys are awesome. Where are we going here? Come on, Ernie, over here. He gets home and starts messing up the switcher already. I want a good SQ stage with low-end authority, man. You know, that's the thing. I know the guy was talking about tonight. I didn't catch any of their names. I'm terrible. Too many of them. Usually I'm like on it. And then he said he had his front subwoofer tuned to like 80 hertz down to 27, and then the rear woofers in the trunk from like, you know, 30 hertz and down to 0, right? So I thought that was crazy, but that's the way you got to do it. You know, when you got like 2 different woofer sizes, 2 different locations, it would be really hard to have both of them playing the same things and then just sounding great. They can sound good, and they're not going to sound great. It's just going to be really hard, and it might not be perfect. So that's the thing with that. But back to, you know, just SQ low end, you know, I feel like that's what a lot of people want, is something to sound really good, and then it be able to dig down pretty deep, not be over, you know, oh, it only plays low-end frequencies like below 40 hertz, and then it's not accurate, punchy bass anymore. You kind of want it all, and it's really hard to get that. But, right, you know, hey, whatever sounds good, man. Thank you, Fee-Fi-Fo. Appreciate you. 11 watching on the short side. I mean, at least it's working. Hey, I have a question. Derry, appreciate you hanging out on my constant chat stop. There we go. We got DIY Audio Guy up in here. Thank you for tuning in, Justin. If you haven't looked at DIY Audio Guy's YouTube channel, go check it out. Did an awesome video recently. I watched it. I like how you use the steamer, man. I will not tell your wife. Hey, I have a question. Thank you, Derry, for tuning in. What is your question, sir? Anson Adams, Jason 97 was stroked 383. Nice. Preferred rendition here, Caveman SPL. I mean, listen, perfect rendition there. Exactly, man. 1000%. I mean, I like to drink my twisted tea in my cave, you know? I'm a little bit in between there, but, you know. Jeff Wallace, thank you for hanging out, stopping by to briefly say hello, Andy. Thank you, Jeff Wallace, for tuning in and just being here, man. You guys are great. Let's see. Okay, we got that. Shannon, I go to 32 hertz. I mean, 32 hertz is like the number, you know, a lot of people tune to. And then, you know, of how big that box is and how big the port is and the ratios between those two. And then boundary loading, meaning where you put the box in your car and how it's firing and bouncing off stuff and windows open, windows shut, big vehicle, small vehicle. That 32 hertz might not mean much, you know, and you have to just to put all the numbers together. And that's why you need to talk to somebody that understands more than just box design, but also how SPL works and what you're trying to go for. And when you're ever getting a box designed by somebody, if they just want to rush through and say, all right, I'm going to give you this box, I don't have time to work with you, pick another one. You want a guy that wants to listen and try to, in his best ability, to understand what you're trying to go for and be like, all right, so I know you want to play 32 hertz, but I'm actually going to tune you to like 28. And he's going to be like, well, why? What do you mean? I want 32. Well, in order for that to work in your vehicle, we're going to have to tune a little bit lower. And with the woofer that you have, the power that you got, we're going to have to build a little bit bigger, and you're going to have some decent playable range, you know, and that's the thing. Box design is key, and it is definitely worth every penny when you have a good box designer to walk you through that. Appreciate your guys' questions, and man, you guys are great. All right, I need this one to keep going. Joe Oregon, okay, I'll bite. You got to bite. Thank you for hanging out, man. Man, you guys are great. Let's see. Q Class, yo. Trev Dog, I turn my radio and my subs up so darn loud. Thank you, Trev Dog, for hanging out with us again, man. And turn down for what? I mean, you just got to turn down for what? You know, I'm just gonna play it.
Bass hitting hard. Yeah. Turn down for what?
Turn down for what? Love you. Sorry for blaring your ears out, guys. Stopping by to briefly say hello again. Thank you, Jeff Wallace, for tuning in. Uncle Bobby B, where were you?
Uncle Bobby B, baby. Uncle Bobby B.
I couldn't end the show without you, man. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you're doing well, and thank you for letting me know about El Fuego. I mean, obviously, you couldn't text me, so thank you, Bobby, for letting me know about El Fuego. I did see it in the Discord. I look sometimes here and there to my notifications. Love you guys for being in, you know, all the Discords. 14.4, 10.9, Living Loud with Andy, even Jake's SDK, Enclosures. You know, just all of them. Just all of them. You guys are great. I made an interchanging port back in the day for my kicker comps. And, you know, that's something that I literally heard this Sunday. My buddy Mike, he was showing me and Soda, like, his interchangeable, like, he's got a flat wall, but he wants to have, like, interchangeable port, you know, demos and SPL. And, yeah, for this next competition, I'm flipping my port. I'm flipping my port. It's a half a dB louder. I did a 152 point. Hold on. I didn't post it or anything. I know my buddy that competes against me in the class. He's gonna be mad because like he was getting real close to me. I'm like, it's too close. Too close. Too close. And 152.3. So another 0.3 dB louder. You know, I mean, it's just, that's, you know, now it's me with two screws in the port. I'm like, okay, it doesn't look great. It's not Cookie Monster, like, because it's got this big port coming out, but I'm louder. So I'm going to do that for next competition. And then I'm going to open up the real can of beans, and that's going to be the Warhorse 10K, and that's going to be real fun. But I just need to try it in the lanes. It's going to be fun. And to have a port that you can do that with, that's why I love the airports. You can interchange, I mean, you can change them some, but to see those drastic results, I flipped it. You know, I mean, I'm changing a lot of things, not just by changing the port inner diameter. I mean, I'm literally taking all the inner gizzards out and making that box bigger, and then the tuning a little bit lower. But, you know, just how sound waves travel and go through the box, there's a little bit less resistance because the port's not inside, you know? So whenever you mess with stuff like that, you can gain, you can lose. And honestly, I think it doesn't play quite as low with it all the way out, which is kind of weird, but it's just louder. Like my eyes are bobbling a little bit more. It sounds louder, but, you know, I don't know. It's just all depends what you want to do. Cody, thank you for hanging out. Yeah, with trunk wall, I can't play loud really at all if I have both windows up. I'll pop the dust cap off if I play sealed up. And let me think. Okay, I know usually it's the other way around. Whenever you like open the door, you'll start to unload because your vehicle is not pressurizing, and then literally holding that woofer from flexing further. It's just like putting it in a bigger box, right? It starts to flex more. You start to open that window. There goes a lot of your pressure, other than like those frequencies that window likes. When the window's down and it gets louder, it's the same reason how your port works, right? So with it being sealed up and then you're starting to unload, I feel like it's because you're playing so far away from any kind of cabin gain in that car. The car is not helping you. Now, if you play it around 50 hertz, yeah, it's going to help you. And that's why back in the day, everyone's like, sealed on the dash matters the most in SPL. And your outlaw score, open door, window means nothing. Yeah, that's easy to say because your boxes back in the day peaked at 45, 50, 55 hertz, which is relatively close to a car cabin resonance that I was talking about earlier. So with our low wasted information builds and just 30, 40 hertz, 20 hertz, that wave's got to extend and those doors want to be open. Thank you, Cody. Appreciate you. Hope you've been well. And here's another one, Mr. Scott Dilbeck. Hope you're doing well as well, man. And thank you for tuning in. I miss you, man. This guy literally got me starting streaming, got me going. Like, I know I watch Kicker and stuff, but he was like, hey, I need you to have me come on my show. And then I joined his show. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go live after that show. And was the after party, but it was on Friday. And then that's literally started the Friday live streams. And then, we just started doing Tuesdays. And here we are, almost 4 years later, 3 years plus. It's kind of crazy. Almost 300 live streams. Just thank you for being there in the beginning, man. And you're still here. So thank you. And I hope you and your family are doing well. And hope John's taking care of you. Let's see here. Eat, Sleep, Base, Repeat. Love the name. Thank you for hanging out. Interchangeable port design is an old school way to do it. My 215 enclosure had an interchangeable port. And, whenever you're in the lanes competing, it's not a bad idea to have something that is designed for the run, the SPL run. And then because usually whenever you have it like that, it doesn't sound great on a wider set of frequencies. And that's SPL. You're trying to get here. SQ, you're trying to go here. You're trying to get all of it. SPL, you're trying to get here. And it's not that one is so much easier than the other. They both indeed have their challenges. Indeed, they both do. They really do. Thank you. Eat, Sleep, Base, Repeat. Appreciate you. Still got a few people on the short stream. I mean, it's working. It's working over there. I'm just glad it works. It works. Yeah, TikTok banned me. I can't go live on there anymore. It's because I don't actually go live through their platform, and I only encode in there, and they're like, we don't like that. So you have to do it. Like, that's why I only had like 6 months, and then it was like, you're done. I'm like, I don't want to reapply again, all that stuff, and literally go live for 2 half-hour sessions on my phone. Like, I think that's dumb. So it's okay. Maybe Instagram. Might try Instagram. Instagram would not be a terrible idea to do instead of the YouTube short form format, but it would be the same thing. Tahoe peaks around 43 hertz, windows up. So the closer you tune to that, the higher the SPL, but less low bass. So you have to find out a compromise between being loud and being low. And that's the thing. I mean, there is guys that are loud and low, but ask them to play 40 hertz. They can't. They can't. Or if they can, it's like severely quieter than what it can do at its loudest output. Anytime that you gear a system to work very well with either the vehicle or just a said frequency, it's going to be harder and harder to be able to play frequencies away from that, meaning that the roll-off is going to be greater. The output, the amount of bass, the sound is coming out and hitting your ears is going to be less. The easier way you can get somewhere else. If that makes sense, and that's SPL. It's like you're literally trying to push it all to here. You're trying to get it all to this a couple frequencies, and that's it. And low frequencies, you're trying to pull what the vehicle wants to do up here, down here. you know? So you have to change things. And then to do that, the enclosure needs to be bigger. And then when the enclosure is bigger, you got trade-offs with that. Less accurate, transient, punchy bass, but you are able to play lower, you know? And then it's like, okay, you're able to play low. Now you're quieter on the meter and you're mad. It's just physics. All right, let's see. A few more questions. I'm already over the hour and 10-minute mark. Man, you guys are nuts. I love you. Great questions tonight. And I missed you guys. Hold on. Talking too much. 32. Dylan. I have 4 Rockville Punishers 12s and a Saab, but it doesn't even shake my windshield. Closure, man. You got enough cone area and motor force and just woofer going on, and you can have it on 500 watts. That mirror should be moving. Check phase. Make sure that all the woofers, like literally unplug each one and plug one in at a time. If you can do that, if you got the terminals on the outside or if you got them inverted or anything, take the time to do it. Make sure that they are all wired in phase. You should be able to plug one in at a time, and it gets louder and louder and louder and louder each time. If it doesn't, then it could be phase, or it could be the enclosure is not big enough, or yada yada. So there is that to think of. That's the basics, but I mean, shoot, man, enclosure. I don't know what kind you got, but if you got no box, you got no bass. And you know, with the L7 S8s in my dad car, everybody is shocked, you know, like I wanted to do more, you know, because like I'm me, but for what it is redonkulous, the output that's coming from that little 8. And I'm not just saying, you know, like certain people are like, oh yeah, it's the best, blah 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 blah. No, this thing's stupid for what it is. A little 8. That's why I want to get the X8, put it in that same box. I think it'll work because it's oversized and I'm getting a lot of that low output, but at sacrifices, but it still sounds good. And it comes down to the enclosure. It's like, dude, I thought you had a 12 back there. I thought you had a 10 back there. No. You know, and it's because the box. Put that same sub in a mediocre box, you're gonna be like, what do you got back there? An 8? 6.5? Do you got bass back there? You know, it could get worse. It could get worse. So bass before everything. And box. Box for bass before anything. I am on a good amount of power now on this Sundown XV3 12 3K to 3 to 6K RMS peaking 29. I got a 46.2 on music. That's awesome, dude. I seen this guy started from the bottom. Now he's here, literally rocking stock subwoofers from Ford. I got half of them in my garage. So proud of you, man. Keep on doing it, bro. Uncle Bobby B, he wants it again.
Uncle Bobby B, baby. Uncle Bobby B.
Thank you, Bobby, for tuning in. Love you guys. I'm not going to keep you here any longer. Let's see. We got one more question. You didn't lift a finger on that sip. Oh, you're right. SQ. Pinky up. Pinky up, Patrick. That's it. Polarity. Yeah, you know, whenever you got just in phase, just speakers, man, it's basic stuff. You got to check it. Sometimes you just wire it up so fast, you didn't realize your white stripe was red, you know, and vice versa. My prefab is pre-tuned for pure excellence. 1000%, man. 1000, you know, you got to. Custom built box, professionally installed everything. You know, I wish, you know, if you got more questions, hit me up at livingloudwithandy@gmail.com. I'm going to get to a few people tonight. I'll help you out, man. I'll help you out. Thank you for tuning in, Dylan. And we got some pennies. We got pennies from SDK.
I got pennies.
Speaking of which, I saw Jake's gaming rig on Kicker Unmasked tonight. Literally the same thing. Sup, people? Hope all are doing well. I'm on a 3-week sick binge. I hope you're feeling better, Jake. And, you know, I was wondering where that box was, but I was going to blame the gaming rig, but we got to blame the sickness. Hope you get better, man. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the pennies. And, yeah, SDK enclosures. check him out. Check him out. Go take a look at him. Thank you, Shoop Dog. Great show tonight. Now we dance. I know we need to roll, guys. We need to roll. We need to dance. Thank you, Shoop Dog. Thank you, Wade, Jake. Man, you guys are great tonight. Love you so much. Make sure you tune in Friday. Q&A. Next Tuesday, no Kicking It with Andy. So no giveaway. And then next Friday, the next Tuesday, tune in, Kicker Unmasked. Again, Ernie, Jacob, you did great tonight. All the guests, you guys are straight up gentlemen. You did awesome. Just talking about the show. Kicker HQ at SQHQ. I'll be there next year. Big D, Ridiculous. I mean, we got to play it. We got to play it.
You big dummy.
He was there at Kicker HQ and just getting out demos. And you know what? I forgot to throw this up.
The size of this thing, I mean, I got a big head. 18-inch woofer, SOX 18.
Andy needs that for a recone for.
Yeah.
I think he's down to his last.
All right, Andy, I'll take care of that for you.
Throw it in the carry-on.
That's right.
I definitely need one more, Derek. Thank you for looking out, and thank you, Rob and Derek, for hanging out in the chat and just checking out the HQ show. Man, that was awesome footage you guys did with the live stream. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will make it next year, Kyle. I will. I'm better off now. Like, if it was like next week, let's go. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you Friday. Thank you for watching the Kicker Unmasked show, and thank you for watching the Kicker Unmasked After Show. Again, any questions, livingloudwithandy@gmail.com. And without further ado, I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay living loud. Too late, Jake. Too late, Jake.
Okay.
What's going on, Face Kicker? Appreciate you, man. Hope you're doing well.
Andy, right?
Yeah, we kicking with Andy.
You know what that means. We
living loud. So much, Wade. I will let you know where my Kicker Amphitheater stash is located. And I see one for sale not even 5 days ago. So if you want an amphitheater, I'll let you know. But it's VIP only, guys. Okay, gotta catch them all.
I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, Wade, if you want to know, I can let you know. And yeah, Jake is always busy, and here it comes in. Everything is clipping because Cornut's coming in. He is coming in.
Cornut.
Thank you so much, Cornut. Appreciate you. And thank you all for watching. I will see you Friday. Have an awesome week, and get back to work. Get back to work. Oh, and by the way, I ended the short live early because it's just too much. We got to have the Cornut just caboose rigness at the end. Love you guys, and I got you, Wade. And now we dance.